yo, Eddie G TV.
Eddie G TV.
You're watching
Eddie G TV.
Eddie G TV.
You're now tuned into Eddie G TV.
Eddie G TV.
You're tuned into Eddie G TV.
You don't fuck with Eddie G TV. Get him the fuck out of here. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jackie Armour, Black Eye boxing coach. I guess it's been 16 years since I got affiliated with the club through Bill Williams. We've had a number of pro fighters and lots of amateur fighters. We've had national champs. Winston's story is a little bit unique. He came in, I'm going to say, 8 months ago. He's about 185 pounds. I told him he couldn't fight it that weight. He had to lose some weight. And he's done it. He fought the last tournament at the Brampton Cup at 151.8. He made it all 3 days and won gold medal. And he's just progressing so quick that I decided that we're going to turn him pro. So he's had 11 fights. He's 10-1 as we speak. And he's going to go pro on May the 13th in Nainomi, BC for Gloved Up Promotions.
Okay, do we have the opponent lined up?
It's Dia Grant, I believe is the name, yes, and he's like 1-6. He's more of a MMA type fighter, but he's had 7 pro fights, so he's been in there before, so there's no one to take lightly.
Okay, so how'd you get first involved in black eye boxing? Like, what was? Do you have a boxing background before this, or?
I just always around the fight game, and then I met Bill Williams, who's a good friend of mine, and Bill was an amateur fighter, and then he just sort of got me into it. I was coaching hockey and baseball, and I started getting into the boxing, and it just went from there.
Okay. So, how many people have become pro fighters out of this gym?
Wow, there's a lot of names. I don't want to start naming names because I'll start forgetting who exactly they all are. But we've had girls, we've had boys, or guys. I would say somewhere around 10 pro fighters that have come out of this gym in the last 10 years.
So, is there anyone in particular that's really stood out in the main?
Yeah, they all had something special about them. But I mean, you just go from one fighter to the next and try to get the next one. Yeah, you got the Coin Boys, you got Kara McLeod. Now you're gonna be naming names. Isaac Nash, Paulie Watson,
Isaac, aka Winston.
So it goes way back. Even guys like Riche, Bobby Riche. Club's been around a long time, and it's had lots of fighters.
When you first started picking fights for fighters, like what is the matchups you want to kind of set up your fighters with?
Well, when you first start off in the amateurs, it's protected. A lot of people don't realize they're standing 8 counts, and if you get 2 in one round, they'll stop the fight. You got to be within so many pounds, depending on what weight you weigh. There's allowances for weight, ages. They have to be within 2 years of each other until they're 19, then they become open class or open fighters. Once you had your 11th belt, you become an open class fighter, and now you can fight anybody with any number of fights. But it's up to your coach to sort of organize that. And then when you go pro, it's trying to find the right opponent for your guy that you think looks like a good matchup for you.
Okay. So, do you think you have a good idea of what opponents are good for Winston?
Winston's, again, he's a special story. I mean, he's just 8 months here. I mean, he didn't even have gloves on in the past. I mean, he's caught on to everything. He's southpaw, so that makes it kind of unique, There's something about the southpaw word that just sort of freaks people out, you know what I mean? And they got to train differently, and I think sometimes they overtrain for southpaws, and they're still not prepared for it.
Okay, Winston, how'd you get into the Black Eye Boxing Club?
Well, first, shout out to Jordan Crawford, my training partner. So he got me coming down first. He had a fight coming up, and I was doing my Transformer workouts online and whatever. And he asked me to help him train for a fight. I came down thinking I was tough. Thought, oh yeah, get some sparring in. Nothing I could fight. Got humbled real quick. So, and I just fell in love with it right away. got it. Like as soon as I started sparring, like I fell in love with it.
The thing with Winston was when he started sparring with Jordan, even though it was hard going, he stayed in there. You know, even though Jordan could have stopped him at every round, Winston still stayed in there, and that's the thing that caught my eye. It wasn't like he found excuses to try to get out of there, and they listened to what I told him to do between rounds, and eventually he started, you know, making some noise.
Now I get him. Get you.
So what is your record so far?
So far, 10-1. 10 wins, 1 lesson. Wouldn't change it for nothing.
What we did was he fought on a Friday in St. Catharines, and he actually, for that bout, they actually were giving out belts, and he knew that prior to the fight. He had counted them and realized that he was going to win a belt if he won the fight. So he showed no mercy on the guy. I think he knocked him down twice to win the belt. And then I had asked him before the fight, would he be prepared to fight on the Saturday night, which is the following night at Bloor Street. So he fought Friday, won, and then went home, obviously rested, and we went back out on to the Bloor Street fight. The Bloor Street fight, the guy was, you know, probably about 12 pounds heavier than Winston, and Winston thought that he could stay in the pocket and train with the guy, and he just didn't have the legs, and you know, he just thought he could stay in there, and the guy taught him a lesson, and that was great for us. All the way home, all we talked about was no more sitting in the pocket. You've got to box. You've got to use your boxing abilities.
And also, that's not a common thing to fight the next day either, right? Like,
It's not. It's more of a 60s or 70s, 80s, early 80s thing.
Yeah.
Kids don't really want to do it anymore. But I think, you know, Winston's different. He knew we had to kind of fast track things and move things along pretty quick. But like I said to him, I said it doesn't feel it right now on the way home. We're driving. I said this is the biggest lesson you're ever going to learn. And we still go back and talk about that particular fight.
so do you think it's better to be like that and more like willing to fight like the next day, or do you think it's better to really strategize and like pick out your
I think every
matches?
situation is different. Every fighter is different. With him, it became a big part of his story, that loss, and I'm glad he has that loss. I'm glad he's not going into professionals with all wins, you know, because he is humble. He does realize that he has to box and he has to use his skill. And if he's not going to use his skill and turn it into a street fight and sit in the pocket, he's not going to come out the win.
Okay, so if somebody wants to start like getting involved with the club, how do they do that?
Yeah, so we run the nonprofit side of things, and it's Monday, Wednesday is for the kids class it's 5 to 6, and for the adults it's 6 to 7:30. You also get Saturdays, which is 10:30 till noon for all, like for kids and adults. Yeah, and there's other days that, you know, if you get in touch with us, you'll find out about. But the mainstay is Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays, and it's $35 a month. So I mean, you can potentially get 12 classes for $35, which is coach ran. Kids class hour long, adult class an hour and a half. And then if they contact me at 519-732-7267 is my cell number, I can give them more details on what else we offer. There's also private training, personal training, and daytime hours for those that work nights.
Okay. Thanks for having me. This is Eddie GTV.
You're watching Eddie GTV. Going to Nano, baby.